Now at 11, preventing a government shutdown. It's a race against the clock. Has Congress finally come up with a compromise?
The debate over vaccine mandates reaches the Ohio State House. I'll break down what's in the latest bill and the potential impact on Northeast Ohio. As The Lion King returns to Playhouse Square, Will Uick shows us what attending a Broadway musical during a pandemic will look like.
When I swim, it comforts me.
Just keep swimming. Lindsey Buckingham sits down once again with Dr. Charlie, who's battling dementia, how he's doing now, and how he continues to inspire others.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is What's Next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Betsy Kling.
And I'm Lena Lai. Russ is off tonight. We begin with the latest on COVID-19 as Ohio just hit a vaccination milestone. More than half of all Ohioans are now fully vaccinated against COVID, and almost 54% of Ohioans have received at least one dose. And when it comes to new coronavirus cases, the state reporting 6,463 cases in the past 24 hours. That's just below our 21-day average. And as the spread of COVID-19 continues to be high across the state, more businesses are requiring COVID vaccinations. But some Ohio lawmakers are working to limit employers' control.
What we're trying to do is set this on a straight course, a fair course.
With lightning-fast speed and without public testimony, Ohio House Republicans tried to rush a vote on House Bill 435 just one day after it was introduced. It would allow Ohioans to opt out of COVID-19 vaccine requirements at school or work.
It balances personal medical freedom and protecting the health and the safety of Ohioans.
The bill would allow students and employees to claim exemptions for medical reasons if they have natural COVID-19 antibodies or
due to reasons of conscience or religious convictions, shall submit to the employer a written statement and shall not be required to submit any additional information beyond the written statement.
In other words, almost anyone can easily opt out.
Essentially, someone could fall back on one of the other exemptions where they essentially put forward a written statement that says, I am exempt because, my religion of cats says that this is against my religion.
But just before a full House vote this afternoon, two powerful groups, the Ohio Chamber of Commerce and the Ohio Hospital Association, joined more than 100 organizations to oppose the bill, saying protection of an employer's rights to make decisions in the best interests of their employees and those we serve cannot be overstated. And sensing a lack of a veto-proof majority,
the motion is agreed to.
House Republicans put on the brakes. The bill heads back to committee, paused, but not passed for now.
Meanwhile, there are several other Republican bills recently introduced. Two would prevent schools from ever requiring masks, and another would prevent businesses from requiring masks, except in health care.
Tonight we have an update on the continuing nationwide bus driver shortage due to the pandemic that is most certainly being felt here at home. Barberton City Schools announcing its main bus route is suspended through next Friday. Students have two options for school. They either have to find a different ride or stay home and use remote learning. Busing will continue for preschoolers, inter-district programs, students with special needs, and for after-school activities. New tonight, the House passed a temporary extension to suspend the debt limit until December 2022. That bill now heads to the Senate. It is expected to fail. That's just one of the standoffs happening now in Congress over the nation's finances as the government is on the verge of shutdown. Midnight tomorrow is the deadline. A major component of the Biden agenda, the infrastructure deal, also hangs in the balance. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
Negotiations kicking into high gear on Capitol Hill before an urgent deadline to fund the government past midnight tomorrow and raise the debt ceiling by mid-October so the U.S. doesn't default on its loans, triggering a financial crisis.
Like $15 trillion in household wealth would go down the drain. Unemployment would go up to 9%.
If the government shuts down Friday, it would be the first time during the pandemic, putting hundreds of thousands of federal workers on furlough. Senate Republicans so far blocking steps to address the pair of fiscal threats in protest of Democrats' massive spending plans paid for by raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy.
They want to print and borrow trillions of dollars and then set it on fire.
Those spending priorities also bumping up against a self-imposed deadline. The House expected to vote tomorrow on a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. But progressive Democrats are threatening to tank it if moderates within their party don't commit to a separate multi-trillion-dollar plan for health care, education, and climate programs.
We pass these things together, and we can better the future of our country.
Moderate Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema meeting with President Biden and his staff, trying to pare down the larger spending bill.
I think we're just in a different position. That's all. And you have to work through that. That's negotiation.
As top Democrats work to unite feuding factions, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying she'll take it step by step, though the runway is getting shorter. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Back here at home, an Elyria man is preparing for a second day in court tomorrow. Lamar Hudson Jr. is accused of killing his own father. Tonight, he's in the Lorain County Jail under a $1 million bond. It was an emotional scene in court earlier today. The 22-year-old Hudson Jr. is facing aggravated murder charges. He is accused of shooting and killing his father, 41-year-old Lamar Hudson Sr., an Army sergeant. The father was found dead in his car on Gulf Road in Elyria late Monday night. An update now on the disappearance and murder of 27-year-old Iron Cannon. Wadsworth police just arrested an 8th person in connection to the case. Remains believed to be that of Cannon were recovered from Lake Milton earlier this month. During the investigation, police learned of an intricate cover-up to try to mislead law enforcement. Their investigation is still ongoing.
The Lion King roars back into Playhouse Square on Friday, marking the return of Broadway shows right here in downtown Cleveland. But if you want to be in the audience, there are a number of things you're going to have to do. Will Ewick explains.
Words can't describe how amazing it feels to be welcoming our first Broadway show back to our stages.
It's been a long time since audiences packed into Playhouse Square to be dazzled by Broadway shows.
How many days? It feels like 1,000.
And just as long for the actors and actresses.
At least 18 months since we at least performed Lion King.
The winner of more than 70 global theatrical awards. When the Lion King tour makes its return to the stage this week, it'll also mark Playhouse Square's first full capacity show in well over a year.
It really has been sort of a chess game mixed with a jigsaw puzzle to get the shows back on stage.
To see the first Broadway show back here at Playhouse Square, you'll need to provide proof of vaccination and an ID. No one 2 years old or younger will be permitted to come in, but if there's a child over that can't be vaccinated, they will accept a negative COVID test. Once inside, all transactions will be cashless and masks are required.
We also ask that if you are not feeling well or if you've unfortunately been exposed to COVID-19, we ask that you stay home, but please contact us because we do have flexible options for your tickets.
And as these 200 puppets and 134 people involved in the production mark the return of Broadway to Cleveland, Playhouse Square hopes they will learn from this 2-week run and keep rolling with whatever comes.
And we will update our protocols as necessary
to keep these historic theaters bright and open long after this emotional return.
That's going to be a part of the challenge, I think, being back. It's extremely emotional, and we're so grateful that it can come out in tears, you know, tears of joy and sadness.
It definitely feels like the first day of school, and it's that exciting, nervous feeling.
We'll see the light in people's eyes, and we'll hear the cheering and the applause, and that is just going to mean everything.
At Playhouse Square, Will Ewick, 3 News.
That show just gives me chills. Well, go ahead and grab your Powerball ticket, everybody. The Powerball numbers for the 8th largest jackpot were just announced. Are you ready? The winning numbers are 32, 17 2 7 11. And the Powerball is 11. That's for the $570 million jackpot. Good luck.
Tonight, just keep on swimming. An update on the 82-year-old man helping those with dementia as he battles the illness himself, how he hopes to inspire others.
Plus, ready for week 4. And Coach Stefanski is heading home as he returns to Minnesota with the Browns this time. How he feels about going back in a new uni. Glad he's wearing that orange and brown, that's all I gotta say. There's a look at the big picture of satellite and radar. All that rain that's sitting out in the western part of the country and in the central part of the country, that's eventually gonna get here. It's taking a sweet old time. We're gonna track it for you straight ahead.
What's Next is sponsored by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
Go, Dr. Charlie.
Come on, Papa. Woo! Yeah, we first introduced you to Dr. Charlie Farrell back in 2019 when the 82-year-old swam from Alcatraz to raise awareness for dementia.
Then in May, he shared some personal news that he too has dementia. But he's back in the water, and this time he's showing us how swimming has helped calm the disease.
Lindsey Buckingham has his remarkable story.
Doing very well. Things are going well.
It's been a few months since Dr. Charlie Farrell shared some personal news with us.
After several months recently of testing, I do have dementia.
But he's never surrendered to his diagnosis, even when it sneaks in.
It's okay. How would you say your journey has changed since the last time we sat down?
Well, I think what I know of this disease, it's progressive, and I think in fact it has progressed. My ability to speak is much more difficult, but suddenly my ability to walk really disintegrated.
The changes especially tough on his life partner, Louise.
I just don't like the fact that he has all these difficulties. And I feel bad when he hurts and when he gets discouraged, and it bothers me.
None of these new currents have stopped Dr. Charlie from journaling about his experience to help others and their families see life outside of dementia.
As long as I can move, I can compete in any number of activities.
Swimming is no new thing for these two. Back in 2019, they swam from Alcatraz to raise awareness for memory care patients. Dr. Charlie couldn't do a swim this year, but he's found a new purpose for his pool.
Well, swimming does a number of things. It's now the only exercise that I can really do. But as my dementia moves on, I have more difficulty dealing with chaos. So when I swim, it comforts me.
I'm proud of him that he is responsible to do what he needs to do to help himself.
He knows there will be rough waters ahead, but the hope is to inspire others.
You can still live a very positive life with help from your family, then find new friends in the same world, and they can live an active life throughout their journey as well.
Just like him.
I have to just put one foot in front of the other and keep doing it. And it's the same with Charlie. I just have to just keep going and go on to the next step.
Keep moving, keep swimming, keep living. Lindsey Buckingham, 3 News.
That is wisdom right there. This weekend, Dr. Charlie will be honored for his tireless work with people living with memory loss. The event, A Decade of Joy, will highlight the Farrell Foundation. If you'd like to learn more, head to WKYC.com. Turning now to weather. Oh, we got some beautiful days ahead, no?
Yeah, fall. I mean, this is what we really, really like about Northeast Ohio fall weather. The nice, warm, sunny days, the cool, crisp nights. just kind of, it's in our blood to love it. We deal with the rain, we deal with the eventual knowledge that the cold will get worse and worse, but live in the now, right? We've got a cool start to the day tomorrow. Temperatures in the 40s to right around 50, but once the sun comes up, I think we'll warm quickly into the low 50s. Patchy fog may be around, but a few high clouds will be with us in the afternoon, and otherwise it will be absolutely gorgeous. Those high clouds are all associated with the clouds that you see out here in the central part of the states, out in the Mississippi River area. Meanwhile, right smack dab in the plains, there's several frontal boundaries that are kind of hanging around, not really moving. You can see these storm clusters that are firing, and they're not going anywhere. These have been ongoing for 4 hours, and they're just sitting there. Meanwhile, we've got storms that are headed north into Canada. Nothing is moving west to east. Everything is just kind of sitting in its own little place. Well, our jet stream pattern is really what's in charge at this point, and it can all point to where things will be going. So we've got this big trough in the west, a big ridge in the east. Ridge means warm, trough means cool, but more importantly, the wind in the upper part of the atmosphere, the guiding influence in the atmosphere, follows right along with these color bars. So you can see that our wind flow is south to north. So that's why we have those storm clusters that are going up into Canada. That storm that is just kind of sitting here in the middle of the plain states, that one, it's just basically that jet stream is allowing it to continue rather than moving it, unfortunately. Now, off to the east, here's the ridge. This is our nice warm afternoons, everybody. Dry, comfortable conditions. We're on the backside of a little trough that's out to the New England area, but by the weekend, this ridge really kind of starts to expand, moves our way. So our temperatures, you're going to find out, will be moving up. But at the same time, we're finally starting to get some movement from west to east coming out of the plains. So our temperatures go up a few degrees, but we start to import not only the clouds, but eventually the rain chances. Those rain chances stick around on Sunday and Monday, and by Tuesday, we're back into some cooler air. Then the worst of the worst happens when it comes to this time of the year, an upper level low. Upper level lows, cold air in the upper part of the atmosphere, and it basically just unlocks from all the guiding influences, and it's expected to sit in the middle Tennessee Valley. That's not good news for us. That kind of puts us into a persistent pattern with the rain showers. So National Design hour-by-hour forecast will kind of skip ahead by 24 hours here. By tomorrow at 6 p.m., still clear. By Friday at 6 p.m., still clear. By the time we hit Saturday at 6 p.m., now we have rain sneaking into western Ohio, and then by Sunday, that rain is sitting right on us. So we will have some rain that catches up to us in the Union Home Mortgage forecast. Temperatures going up, ridge is expanding, but eventually those clouds and showers move in here as we head through Saturday into Sunday. Then we get stuck with that upper level low. That means cool temperatures, and that also means persistent on and off rain showers that'll be scattered around the area for a pretty good chunk of next week. Jimmy's up next. He's got a look at sports.
The Sports Report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Sarah Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. We begin with very sad news today around the Cleveland sports community. Longtime Cleveland sportscaster, sports writer, and just really down to basics, a great sports fan, Matt Lodi passed away today at the age of 46. He had been diagnosed with cancer back in 2019. His journey through all of his treatment and his fight against the disease, he made very, very public as he told us his story of his ups and downs. He was always there, and by that I mean he was at every Indians game, Browns game, Cavs game, college game, high school game. He was just a real worker, and he loved his craft. I'll tell you what, it was always a great seat at a game if you had the seat next to Matt Lodi. And our condolences out to his wife and his family. Matt was a great guy, and he is going to be missed. In baseball, the Indians taking on the Kansas City Royals right now, and I'm not kidding. It's not going well. Ninth inning, and the Indians trail 10-5 in the game. Zach Plesac on the mound. First inning, boy, that guy Salvador Perez has had an amazing year. He hit home run number 48 to give the Royals a 3-1 lead. And they made it 5-1, but then the Indians battled back to tie it at 5-5 until in the seventh inning off Nick Whitgren, Hunter Dozier triples to right, knocks in two. They've added a couple more, and it's 10-5, and the Indians trail. So this would mean if they lose this one tonight, they'll have to win the remaining four just to break even on the year, and they'll wrap up their stay in Kansas City coming up tomorrow night with Shane Bieber on the mound. Hopefully he'll pitch well. Browns getting ready for a tough game and a big game on Sunday in Minnesota against the Vikings. Now, tough news, their top draft choice and a kid that's been playing very well to his very quick start of his NFL career, Greg Newsome, their quarterback, is out for this game. They won't put him on IR. He has a calf injury. Greedy Williams will take his spot and start at cornerback. Myles Garrett, no surprise, named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. He had a career-high 4.5 sacks last Sunday against the Bears. Do it again this Sunday, Myles. Baker Mayfield had a very good game on Sunday. Not a great game. He had a very good game, and he found his way to get that offense going after a tough start against a good Bears defense. But they accomplished it. Now can they do it again this week?
We need to play a complete game on offense. We need to start fast, finish. Last week we didn't turn the ball over, which was, one of the things we harped on within the week of practice. So we need to play one of those complete games, and, this is the next great challenge, the next best opportunity to do it.
Well, he may downplay it, but it's got to be a big weekend for Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he had like 16 years in the Vikings organization, and now here he is coming back as the reigning NFL Coach of the Year, as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, going back against his old team, the Vikings, which is a tough team. And boy, he has nothing but praise for the people in Minnesota and what they helped him do.
Obviously a special place, had great time there, treated great by the organization, from the ownership to the coaches, staff. So really have good friends there. That being said, it's a really big game, and they're a good team, so that has our full attention.
I mean, that's why he's our guy, isn't he? Classy all the way. We'll be right back.
Here are 3 things to know happening tomorrow. Cuyahoga County is now offering $100 to residents who get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine at a community clinic. And there is one planned for tomorrow in Cleveland at the McCafferty Health Center on Lorraine Avenue. It's from 1 p.m. until 6:30. Both walk-ins or appointments are welcome.
There will be a Cleveland mayoral forum tomorrow, too, focused on high-priority issues for youth in the community. Some of the topics to be discussed are violence prevention, education, and workforce development. MyCom and the Cleveland NAACP are hosting the virtual event. It begins at 5:30 p.m.
And Topgolf Live Stadium Series comes to Progressive Field. Running tomorrow through Sunday, you can hit golf balls onto the on-field targets inside the home of the future Guardians. Tee times are reserved for 1 hour at a time. Tickets are available now.
Wow. Guess who's out on those tee boxes?
Wow.
That was Jensen Lewis and
Great Al Pulaski, I believe. Yeah.
They get to do it first, I
Both
guess.
look like they need a session with Jimmy Hanlon.
Or Slider. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you tomorrow.